mean, the rules that are set up in corporate, bro, are just not meant for nobody to win, bro, other than the people who own the corporation or the executives, bro. So like, I remember I quit my job because my regional vice president in a meeting, we were sitting talking to some of the lead top bankers, right? So it's a white man. He's probably about 45. He was real cool. So he said, "Yeah, James." So the guy basically said he make $300,000 a year. He worked 50 hours a week. Now at this point, I'm working like 60 hours a week. The guy said, yeah, man, you keep working here about 5 years. You get them referrals. You get everything. You know, you can be you'll get promoted to a power banker or no, it wasn't called a power banker. I was a power banker when he said that. He said you'll get promoted to um president club banker. So, my eyes lit up like, wow, man. Like I'm just thinking like, wow, I get promoted or whatever. And then he like tapped me on the back before he left. He was like, that's also if I approve it.
Yeah.
And that once he said that, I'm like,
This ain't
so
it.
you mean to tell me like no matter if I put in the work, had the numbers, had the referrals, had everything on paper, you still got to approve me
Still gotta
for
approve me.
character and a fit for the position.
100%.
And then I'm like, bro, that ain't fair, bro. I'm a black man from the east side of Detroit. Like, I'm never gonna fit your character fit,
Never.
bro. Never.
Never.
So like, at the end of the day, bro, like that corporate shit, bro, like it's just not for me. It's for certain people, but like it's just not for me because I'm constantly growing and I'm gonna outgrow your position every 6 months. So it's like unless you're gonna be giving me a raise every 6 months and promoting me and doing all this, before you know it, I'm gonna be the CEO. So I might as well be the CEO of my own company,
Yeah,
bro.
definitely. I went through something similar at Enterprise. And, I kept getting promotions and stuff there because if you didn't get promotions there, like you could make more, right? Like it wasn't like, oh, if you are the top sales guy in this entry level position, you're gonna get so much commission that you could be satisfied with this. No,
Right.
you had to keep getting promoted. So, I did what everybody else did, and in order to be eligible to interview for a promotion, you had to first pass an exam. But in order to take the exam, you had to hit certain sales benchmarks, right?
Right.
So I hit certain sales benchmarks, then I passed the exam, and now I'm at the interview stage. But there's a spot opening for a manager, and it's me against six other people interviewing for the manager spot at the branch that I was already working at, right?
Right.
So I'm thinking to myself, like, all right, all these other guys might have decent numbers. My numbers are the absolute best, but we still have to interview for this role, and you are going to pick who you like based on the answers they gave or the report that you already have, and you're
Right.
not going to base it off the data. Because if you look at the data, I'm already at the branch that you're trying to fill a spot for,
Right.
and I have the top numbers here. Why would you bring somebody else in from a different branch with lower numbers to take this spot unless it was, oh, I just like him better? Now, thankfully, I got the promotion. Nobody else got the spot, but I realized at that point, like, when we have these happy hours every month, they want me to shake your hand, pat your back. Like you want to get buddy buddy with me outside of
Bro.
work. So when a spot opens up, I can get the leg over somebody, regardless of what the numbers say. And I'm like, I'm not with that, bro.
Bro, you always are like kissing somebody ass in corporate, like trying to not say the wrong. Like I said, if I really worked in corporate, bro, like I probably would delete my social
Yeah,
medias.
100%.
Like unless my LinkedIn, I only would share like articles or things that were really interested in my field. But like, bro, I wouldn't be on social media because we just seen countless of people lose their whole career or endorsements and all of this just because of what they said or how they felt or you know like the young lady Fly J. I don't know if you've seen this, but like she was rapping. She played for LSU. She was rapping. She made like a line about the towers blowing up or going down, and like they made her take that shit down. And it's like that's just a smaller example of, and I understand, right? People lost their lives, stuff like that. But it's like, bro, it's never a reaction when stuff happened in our past that reflects black people. It don't be the same outrage,
Yeah,
bro. So it's like it's all fake, bro. The rules are fake.
yeah,
Don't follow the rules. Like it's so crazy because it's like if you follow the rules, bro, you literally end up
you
unhappy.
lose.
You lose.
You lose.
If you follow the rules, you lose. Like let's talk about all right, for example. What person I will give you every dollar in my bank account, bro. If you can find me somebody who worked 40 hours for 40 years, work life balance, happy, white picket fence, all of this, and became massively successful that you can name, 40 hours, it don't work, bro. You can't get ahead of life in America. I don't know about nowhere else.
Right.
Working 40 hours, bro. It's just not going to happen. But the rules will tell you you need to be balanced. You need to have this great home life. You need to separate work from home. You need to be able to cut it off soon as you walk out the door. None of that shit is true.
It don't work like
They
that,
don't
bro.
tell you, like, bro, even when I was a banker, like, they should have had executive level training for us.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I used to spend my Saturdays going to get a haircut, going shopping, all of this. And it was fucking with my mental health because I'm working all day. And then when I get off work, all I can do is run those errands.
Yeah.
So, like, I went off on my barber, bro, because I go in there and I'm sitting there 3, 4 people behind. When I called him and he said I had a spot open.
Right.
And I'm like, bro, why the fuck am I sitting in here for 3 hours on a Saturday, bro? Yeah, man. I mean, if you'd have just old boy done paid me an extra 5, bro, I would pay you an extra 50. Cut my hair, bro. Like my time is so
Yeah.
valuable, but like he was so small minded. He thinking like, I mean, shit, that extra 5. I mean, like, bro, you don't think
Right.
I could pay you an extra $5 for a haircut, bro?
Yeah.
So my time is only worth $5 to you? Like,
Legit.
bro, get the fuck out of
Yeah.
here, bro. So I was doing that, and then I was um going to Whole Foods, sitting in line. Like, so really, what I did, obviously, I paid a little extra, get the haircut, be in there 30 minutes. Boom, that saved me 2 or 3 hours. Instacart. I don't even
Right.
got to get up, bro. I ordered the same stuff. Instacart. Boom. Now I got my whole Saturday to
Yeah. The
myself,
whole
bro.
day back.
Whole Saturday, whole weekend. So it's like, and then I stayed downtown, so now I don't have to commute. So this is like executive decisions that like buy my time back and
Yeah.
leverage my money, and like they don't teach that in corporate America at all.
And let alone corporate America, they don't teach it. Period. Right? That's not even a. It's not an education thing. It, bro. I don't even know how you get that other than seeking entrepreneurship and then wasting time on stuff and then realizing how can I be more efficient, bro. Like you know me, I suit tie
Right.
5 days a week, right? So I'm the type of person that hey, if I believe if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So I used to spend hours on a Saturday or Sunday preparing all of my clothes for the week, bro. Like that means I need 5 shirts, dress shirts, pressed clean, ready to go for the whole week before Monday morning starts, right? How long you think it take me to wash, hang dry, and iron 5 shirts and make sure all my suits are pressed prior to Monday morning? Bro, it take up my whole day. And
Right.
now I just go to dry cleaners, bro. So for one, I bought higher quality shirts than what I was wearing before, and I just drop them off at the dry cleaners, bro. The dry cleaners is right on the way between the crib and the office, so it's very convenient for me to stop and pick it up. Yeah, it costs a nickel and dime here, and some people would think, oh, if I just have that nickel and dime back in my pocket, oh, I'm saving money and I can get ahead by saving that money.
Right.
No, because if the dry cleaning costs me $8 today and then $10 next week, I'd rather pay that $8 and $10 than spend 4 or 5, 6 hours on a Saturday or Sunday just preparing my clothes.
Right.
And even if I'm not doing anything useful in that time, I'd rather have my feet kicked up watching the NBA finals if I can do that instead of playing laundryman all day.
Right. I wanted to ask you about this. I thought I asked you about it before, but I must have been talking to Steven. Cause Apple, right, they just launched the 4.5%
Hmm.
savings account. And you know, me and you always talk about like just like the permanent life insurance and how the savings accounts, I mean, like that's like a savings account for most people.
Right.
So if Apple get in the game and do the 4.5%, and they got $1 billion worth of accounts
Right.
in a week.
Yeah.
For one, Apple got everybody data because people got iPhones and they track everything online. So like, where do you see as an advisor like the future of banking and the future of personal finance? Because is it gonna all be intertwined with this tech? Like banking is
Yeah.
all these banks going out of business. Is banking gonna even be a thing that's not intertwined with some form of technology in the future?
I don't think it's possible to not have the two intertwined at this rate.
Right.
And I mean, technology is ingrained in every aspect of our lives, bro. Like, I know people who have not touched physical cash or carried around cash or even a debit or credit card in so long. I remember I told you this. I was with one of my homies in Florida, and his dad lives down there, and we're out at a little festival or whatever, and he's buying food, and he just taps his Apple Watch on the
Yeah,
register
yeah, yeah. I
to
used
pay
to
for
have an
his
Apple
food,
Watch.
and I'm like, the dude has a digital card inside a wallet inside the watch, and he don't even carry a wallet around. He just tapping his wallet on stuff to
That's
pay for
dangerous.
everything.
That
It's very
that's
dangerous,
dangerous.
but it's about the efficiency. It's about the new wave, and there's no way that at the pace that technology is booming and our economy is going, that you'll be able to separate like development of technology from money. And it's just getting all intertwined into one because, like you said, the same service that has your cell phone now has all of your money as well.
Right. I mean, I don't understand why. Well, I mean, we're in a recession right now. No matter what Joe Biden say or whatever, because the GDP growth has been
Right.
going down for the last 3 months, right? So, I'm not sure if you've seen any drop in your business, but me being in the advertising business, I've seen like days where we don't make any money, and then the money flows in. So before that, it used to be consistent. Like I can
Right.
kind of forecast 2 to 3 months of what I'm going to make based off the moves and the content that I create. But now it's like you just really don't know. So if you're not financially literate, you're in trouble. Not Vibe magazine, Vice magazine just went out of business. BuzzFeed just went out of business. MTV News, they all going out of business. So traditional media is really, really in trouble, right? So I see a combination of all these big companies, tech companies. I'm talking about Microsoft, Google, Apple. All of these companies are going to be so intertwined in our life in terms of banking, in terms of buying a house, all of that to the point where, because it's all data driven,
Yeah.
right? So they're basically trying to guess if you're a good candidate based on your behaviors, your text messages, everything. So it only makes sense for them, Google, with all your data, to partner with a big company similar to how Apple and Goldman Sachs have
Yep.
partnered, and now they're doing the banking thing. But I don't know how long that 4.5% is going to stay. Maybe it's like an entry level thing to get a whole bunch of people in,
It's gotta be, bro.
because that's ridiculous. Because banks traditionally give you what, point and a half. I
Yeah.
mean, not a point and a half, zero, half of a point.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because in the '80s, right? Like, if anybody go talk to their auntie or they mama or whatever, they gonna talk about CDs, right?
right,
Because
right, right, right.
back in the '80s, a certificate of deposit would give you a high interest rate because interest rates were crazy, and that evened out, right? That toned back down. So it's just the same thing happening right now. Yeah, the interest rates are high, it's looking crazy, and you can put money in a high yield savings account and get a return that some people don't even get in the stock market, but
Right.
there's no way that that's sustainable. But it's definitely a great timing for them to come out with this, right? Like, so convenient for me to come out with a brand new product at the time where you're going to get the best return in history almost. Well, at least since the history of Apple really being developed what it is. But there's no way it remains that high. But
Right.
by the time it drops down, people are going to already then put money in there and been comfortable with it. Like, I got the savings account, so I doubt that they're going to
I mean,
start
Apple is
shifting
getting
it.
all the way into finance. I mean, I have the Apple Card. I don't know if you have, like,
No,
if
I
you.
didn't get that.
Yeah, I have the Apple Card,
Yeah.
bro, and they gave me a pretty good like line of credit when I applied for it. Actually, I wasn't even going to get it, but I'm just like, I'll be looking at my inquiries every year, and I'm like, oh, a couple of my inquiries fell off. I apply for the Apple Card. Let's just see how much they're gonna give me. Because I was hearing a bunch of people saying like Apple giving out real, real good lines of credit. So I applied and I got a nice line of credit. But I'm just thinking about, like, at first Goldman Sachs and Apple. Well, Goldman Sachs reported that like they was losing money on that,
Yeah.
right? So I think the full play is the banking play, and basically they getting all your deposits, and instead of them putting up their billion, 2 billion, 5 billion, they're gonna put up your five
Yep.
billion, 2 billion to lend it back to you and take interest, and it's all on your phone and on your device, and then Apple is just going to keep selling you different services. You need storage, you need this, upgrade your phone, you got money. Like, they know if they have your credit card information, your banking
Yeah.
information, they literally know that Cliff has $25,000.
Right.
We got this new iPhone. he can afford this new iPhone.
Literally.
So it's very, very dangerous. It's almost as if they're literally snooping around in your house,
Yeah.
in your bank account, and everything. And there's no way turning back. I mean, we trade convenience for privacy
Yeah.
like all day. So
100%.
privacy, the idea of privacy is like non-existent.
It's not a you can't hide, right? It's funny because I always think about older relatives and older folks that I know who they scared to give out the
Man,
information
my
on
grandma just got
this.
an iPhone.
Oh man. But you know how they are. They don't want to share somebody's phone number. They don't want to write their address down. They think somebody gonna get them. And it's like you don't understand that everything that you think belongs to you actually belongs to some database somewhere, some huge company, and they're using that to probably run ads at you and shape your mindset and you don't even realize it.
Right. How about our guy, man, Jamie Foxx, man? I'm glad to hear the updates on him. He's doing well. Um and me being in media, man, I want to like talk about media and the responsibility of media because I didn't report on that because for one, we're not hearing it from somebody direct in the
Yeah.
situation. And I have a platform and other people have platforms to where we can spread rumors that get out to everybody. I made a post, 50 Cent posted it up on his page. Diddy tweeted it out. You see what I'm saying? So it's like at this point, if I put out fake news, I can create a fake narrative about whoever I want.
Yeah.
And I have a big enough platform to where it's dangerous because that can really be the narrative. Somebody pick it up from me, somebody pick it up from them, and before you know it, that narrative is out there. So I believe it was a page called Daily Loud on Twitter. They got like 1.8 million followers. And they just basically post up like um, Jamie Foxx family is prepared for the worst. So
Yeah.
when they did that,
They ran with
all
it.
the other blogs picked this up. All the other blogs picked this up. Now I don't think like the Shade Room. I don't think they posted nothing like that. But like it was some big blogs posting it up, and me just doing my research. I'm like, who started this?
Yeah.
And then Jamie Foxx's daughter came out and basically said like he's been out of the hospital for the last 2 weeks. He's even playing racquetball or tennis ball or something like that. And I'm just thinking like how dangerous the media is just for likes and clicks. Like we
Man.
playing with one of our legends, bro. Playing with
Literally
his
playing
life,
with his
bro.
life. And it's
Like,
not the first time it happened, right? I remember back in the day there was like a Sean Kingston thing. They said he had died and he wasn't. It's just like
oh yeah, yeah, I remember
but
that.
it
I remember
spread so quickly, bro, because I mean that's become normal, right? Like the moment somebody does actually pass away, everybody's resharing, everybody put on their story, everybody talking about it.
right.
So even if something is fake, somebody could have been in their mom basement and just typed up an article headline and put a celebrity picture there.
Yes.
And if it hit the right source, it's viral. And before you know it, everybody's running around believing it, but it's far from true, man. And like you said, that's dangerous because it's hard to know what to believe.
Yes. It's very hard to know. I mean, even with artificial intelligence and all this new technology, deep fakes, you can literally have a video of you saying something to your mom, and then somebody can switch your words up with
Yeah,
AI that sounds just like you because we got podcasts, we got Instagram, we got social media. So our voice is out there enough for artificial intelligence to learn how to communicate just like us. Somebody brought it up to where is this going to stop when it comes to like interrogations? Because like if you
yeah,
think about it, artificial intelligence is so dangerous when it's used against someone for because let's say for example, let's say you married and a dude say, "Yeah, man, I've been sleeping with your wife." You like, "Man, whatever, dude. You tripping." And then he like shows a video of her saying something, but he just cooked this up on artificial
right.
intelligence. And now you and your wife about to get a divorce, you doing all of this, you filing for this, you getting lawyers involved. And your wife is sitting there saying, like, I don't know this dude. This is not my voice, man. You like, this is
Right,
clearly your
right.
voice. So like where do I don't even know where we even separate the two because it's so good because you're using stuff like Chat GBT and all of that. But then it's so dangerous, bro, because it could really change someone's life, get somebody convicted, get someone divorced, get someone fired
Yeah,
for sure. So I don't even know if it's a good thing. I
it's
don't even
hard to
know if the
measure.
benefits outweigh the
Yeah,
downturn.
right. Because it's not like we can say, "Oh, we're gonna put this out with good faith and hope everybody does the right thing," because we know that's not how anything works.
Right.
And I'm interested to see what a regulation will come in around this, right? Because this can't be ignored from a government standpoint. Like the laws and regulations around how this stuff is used is gonna have to be so tight, but at the same time, is it even possible to make it tight enough to stop it? Because what can they truly stop, right? Like they can't control guns, they can't control shootings, they can't control drugs, they can't control credit card scamming. So is it even literally possible for them to regulate and control and monitor stuff like that from happening? And that's just on petty levels, right? Imagine people who want to manipulate large corporations and start playing around with billions of dollars by, you know, manipulating all sorts of
I
stuff.
think the problem with politics um, is it's the exact opposite of technology. Meaning, you got people like Joe Biden, who's like almost, I think Joe Biden's 80 or 81, right? So Joe Biden is the president, and he, can affect policy. Obviously, he's the president, executive order. But then you got 16, 17-year-olds coming up with innovative technology that's changing the world. So there's a whole 2, 3 generation divide. Technology moves so fast and it changes. I think I forgot what law it's called, but it's like a law to where the chip it gets so small, which is why our devices are getting
Yeah,
smaller and more powerful because the chips that we make are getting smaller and powerful. But like if you look at the age of our politicians and you talk about artificial intelligence and things like that and the regulations, they're not even there mentally
yeah,
and technology wise to
yeah.
understand. But I mean, you got to be 35 to be a president, and what president is going to be 35, right?
Right.
Really, we should have somebody in the office under 30, like a under 30 panel or something like
Something.
that, that is guiding people on the dangers of these different technologies and giving people the full scope. Because if you Joe Biden and you 80 years old, you don't even have the bandwidth to even decide on what's good for the technology and what's bad.
Yeah,
So you're just going to go on and make these political decisions based on who you want to win and not what is really beneficial to the economy, what's beneficial to the job market, what's beneficial to mankind. You don't know because for one, you old, you don't even have a you don't even we grew up with technology, bro. So like if you grew up with technology, you're by default an expert at how to operate an iPhone by
yeah,
default. My grandma just got an iPhone. She's not an expert at all. So when we be thinking about like who would ever get got by these scams or whatever online, somebody like my grandma would get got.
yeah.
Somebody
No,
like
for
Joe
sure.
Biden would get got, bro, because they 80, bro. Like
Yeah,
it is not their fault that they're old, obviously, but technology is the opposite of politics because politics they give you credit for being in there for 20 years, 30 years. I think Biden was a senator for 30 years, 40 years. That's actually the opposite. If you've been in technology 40 years, you out of date, bro. Like you see Bill Gates and them, they investing in these new young dudes.
right.
So it's like there's a huge, huge divide on politics and technology, which is why regulation never and never will catch up to where the technology is at because it take politicians 2 years to even agree upon addressing an issue.
Yeah.
So if it take me and you 2 years to decide on what we gonna eat, we done, bro. We had never survived long enough to even get to the restaurant.
Right. Well, I mean, where is this gonna go with education? Right? Because there's a high school kid somewhere right now putting all his assignments in the chat GPT, getting off, bruh.
Right.
He at home playing Xbox all night, and it takes him 30 seconds to do his assignment because he just gave it to AI, and AI kicked out an answer, and he turned in a flawless essay at school, and the teacher 60 years old has no idea
Right.
that a computer wrote this and not the actual student. And that's such an interesting thought process because I mean when we grew up, right, like there was class and then you go home and do homework, or you might even turn it in online, right? Like by the time we got to high school and college it was turning in online, but prior to that it was write it by hand.
Right.
So it's almost like they're going to have to strip the technology. It's going to be write this paper by hand right here in front of me in the classroom. I can't send you home with homework because I have no idea what you're going to do if I let you out of my sight, right? It's like we got to remove the devices from the classroom, and y'all really have to sit here with a hard copy textbook and show me that you understand what's going on and that you can actually write, because how will you ever know as a teacher now if a student is truly putting forth the effort and learning when they can just put any question or any type of problem solving mechanism into a computer
Right.
and it's gonna give an exceptional answer, bro. Flawless,
Right.
perfect grammar, everything.
I believe Chat GBT passed the MBA, the MCAT, the LSAT, like, the bar exam. I mean, pretty much all of those standardized tests, Chat GBT passed like 98%. So at this point, a lot of public institutions are even getting rid of like the LSAT and a lot of these a lot of these standardized tests because of things like that. So, but you hit on something. I don't even know if that's a good thing though, to strip the technology away from a 9-year old and tell him to write.
It's hard to say.
Because in the real world,
Not gonna
when
have
is
to
he
do that
ever going to have
ever,
to write?
ever.
Like when is he ever, like when I was learning cursive writing when I was like second or third grade, I used to think like, "Oh, we're going to write cursive our whole life. Like that's how we're going to write." No, we just sign our name
Yeah,
in cursive.
that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
But the traditional school system, which is just as far as behind as politicians, it's so far behind that it makes you question even having your children in that type of school system
Yeah,
anyway. Like if they're not teaching artificial intelligence in these
it's
schools,
like they robbing them.
what
They
are they
behind.
teaching?
Yeah.
Christopher Columbus. Why are we talking about this? Like I used to be in school like who gives a fuck what somebody did in 1876, Christopher Columbus, all, bro, none of that matters, bro. But they will not put financial literacy in there. They do not want to put artificial intelligence in there. Computer science is barely in there.
Yeah.
So it's like, again, following the rules, bro. Like if you follow these rules and you go to these schools and you do everything right, you're still gonna end up broke.
Well, it's like you're gonna end up the perfect puppet, which is essentially exactly what they want, right? It's like they don't want you to be thinking for yourself, productive, entrepreneurial, forward thinking. Like that's not what an organization wants. That's not what the corporation wants. They want you to be just good enough to follow the rules to get whatever the job done is that I assign to you. And at this rate, it might not even be that many jobs to assign because they're going to be looking to offshore to a computer anyway. So I mean, I mean, we all know the education system has been, lacking behind for a good amount of time now. But it is very interesting to see because you can't take technology all the way out of the classroom, right? Because now
Right.
kids are missing the opportunity. Like if I didn't have Microsoft Word coming up through middle school and high school, like it would be tragic to be an adult in today's age and not know how to use that, right? But
Right.
at the same time, it's like, how do you allow them to use the technology but not abuse it to the point where you can't tell if they're actually learning or not, or they're just leveraging the computer to do all the work.
Man, I just this something just came to me about because we both got on Yeezys. My guy Kanye West, bro. Like so, Adidas just announced the CEO of Adidas just announced after getting sued by their shareholders, they're now going to sell the $600 or $700 million worth of Yeezys that they broke the partnership and they was going to have to basically eat that loss. And they're going to donate a portion to charity, which is basically cap. They might donate 5-10%, but like they need that money because
Right.
they were going to lose millions and I think $1.3 billion, just based off the inventory and the profit that they were going to make because they sell Yeezys literally at a high profit margin because Kanye is the marketing. They
Right.
don't have a marketing budget. So like I know that's like one of your favorite artists or whatever. So about the whole Kanye West Adidas situation, like how did you feel with them breaking the partnership? I mean, obviously he said a lot of things that were out of whack. Um, but I feel like business and this whole cancel culture and everything that we live in, like I think we're gonna get to a point where everybody gonna be like uncancelable. Like you
Yeah.
can't even cancel nobody because you didn't heard everything, seen everything, done
Right.
everything. So like a guy like Kanye West, like you can't really even cancel him. And he knows it, which is bad.
Right. Right.
Like
He's well aware.
he's well aware that he can't be canceled.
Yeah. I mean, that's a tough situation because, like you said, I mean, if we went back in history and undid everything that made sense business wise because of something somebody said,
Right.
there would be nothing in existence, bro.
Nothing, bro.
There'd be nothing left because everybody has done something, whether they got caught or not, or whether it was public or not, is a different story. But
Right.
everybody has said or done something at some point that someone who was significant, right? If we just disregard their invention or their creation or their style or their artistry or their business acumen because they had an opinion of their own and they shared it,
Right.
like nothing would exist. So the decision making when it comes to businesses sustaining being intertwined with somebody sharing their personal feelings is a very fine line. And I understand it's like, oh, Adidas doesn't want to get canceled, right? They don't want to be the corporation who supports Kanye West's views or anybody else's views.
Right.
But do you put that on the line and risk going out of business because the only reason you're relevant today is because of this man,
Yeah.
right? Because if it wasn't for leaning on entertainers like him, I mean, athletes I feel like aren't floating Adidas. Maybe
I mean,
overseas,
yeah, I was
right?
about to
In
say they got that
soccer,
overseas
yeah.
soccer, but that
But
those margins are so thin. Their profit, like Kanye was 10% of their revenue, but he was like 40% or 50% of their profit. Because I mean, a company like him, all right. I mean, let's say they doing $20 billion. I don't know what Adidas is doing in terms of revenue, but let's say they doing 20 or 40 billion dollars. Kanye West is 2% of or 10% of their revenue, but he's 50 or 60% of their profit. That's because he's an entertainer, he's an icon. So he is the marketing budget, and they're only paying him a commission. It's not like they're paying him $50 million up front every year. No, they're paying him 15% of the sales of the shoe. So they're basically not paying him. The customers are paying him.
right,
So they have the sweetest deal ever. Kanye got the sweetest deal ever. So it's like a win-win. But like you said, bro, like now that they're intertwined, you in bed with Kanye, he knows you need him. And people saying Adidas don't need. Listen, dude.
they need him.
When profits, when billions of dollars is at stake, they need that dude. We all know that, but he knows that, and that might be to a fault. You know how we was talking about like, yo, something can be so positive that it can turn into a
Yeah.
negative. Kanye, they need Kanye so bad that he's using it literally against them
Yeah.
to get out of the deals and all of that. But I don't know, man. I mean, Adidas isn't relevant to me. Like I don't think about
I-
Adidas. I don't wear
The
Yeezys thinking
the
I'm wearing
only
Adidas.
the only Adidas product I have are these Yeezy shoes.
Facts.
So if it wasn't for Kanye West, I would own zero things that say Adidas.
Right.
And I mean, it doesn't mean they don't have a good quality product. It's just, hey, you aren't the it factor anymore. Like you're not the go-to. And you may have had your run back in the day, but even still, you could credit that to Run DMC for them taking over pop culture when they did have a run back in the 80s and the 90s in America. So it's
Right.
always been leaning upon, right, an entertainer, an athlete of some sort. And if Run DMC had came out and had some off the wall views and perspectives, right? Would they have been like, oh no, we don't support those guys wearing our clothes, like we don't want those type of people, those hip hop people wearing. If they would have did that back in that, they would have went out of business back then, and we wouldn't even know what Adidas is today,
Right.
right? If there was always a we don't want any ties with people who have an opinion or say so, but I don't know that that's a sustainable way to run your business. Is every time someone that you're in cahoots with says or does something, you just cut ties and say, hey, we don't have anything to do with this. We don't want our hands on it.
I mean, because the whole lawsuit that they was getting sued for by the shareholders was y'all knew Kanye West was problematic. He said slavery was a choice and all of this other thing, and y'all stood behind him and said, yes, we stand behind Kanye West. Then he say what he say, right? And then now everybody's like, oh no, we got to cut bait. But the shareholders' whole lawsuit was y'all knew he was problematic, so y'all should have had a business model set up or something in the clause set up to where if he did do something like that, we would be able and have a plan to get out from under this.
Yeah.
But still, they are so desperate to have a Yeezy or a Beyonce because they Beyonce partnership didn't work. So Adidas is just overall is just really bad at partnerships and structuring deals because the behemoth of Nike, right? So it's like Adidas is like the the side chick that You gotta whenever he calls, you gotta answer because no matter what, if it's at the middle of the night, 4 in the morning, because he's at home with Nike.
Right.
So whenever whenever he do call you, you got to pick it up. That's why they do. That's why they partnerships are so bad and they never really last. Like how can you not make a partnership work with Beyonce? They just had Beyonce Ivy Park. She partnered with them. She negotiated that she gets $20 million guaranteed, and she get a percentage of the sales. And all the marketing plan they did was send their stuff to celebrities. Who do you think you are, Adidas? Like y'all ain't put no marketing push behind none of this.
Yeah.
You ain't. Have you ever seen somebody wearing Ivy Park?
No.
Me either. And that's not Beyonce fault. Cause Beyonce, like I'm Beyonce. Y'all supposed to use my image. I gave y'all rights. That's why y'all pay.
Right.
That's why y'all got to pay me $20 million. Y'all supposed to put another 100 behind that and sold the product. But Adidas, bro, like they just don't know what they're doing in terms of strategic partnerships. I don't know who their head of partnerships is, but he or she, like, their job is on the line because everybody they try to strike a deal with, it doesn't work out. So I don't know how that's going to even pan out in terms of they're claiming they're selling and giving the proceeds to charity, but they're basically doing that to avoid the lawsuit that they were getting sued for. So
Yeah.
I don't understand how Adidas could. I mean, obviously they're going to survive because they're so ingrained in the culture, right? And like you said, soccer overseas, etc. But in terms of competing with Nike, they're not competing.
No.
It's not even like
Doesn't feel like it.
LeBron signed a lifetime deal with Nike. Kevin Durant signed a lifetime deal with Nike. Jordan obviously have a lifetime deal with Nike. I mean, where does Adidas fit in into that realm? I mean, they had D Rose popping for a minute,
Yeah,
but
but
I don't really know how that's going to go. Um, I just don't understand how that's going to go. This another thing I seen that was pretty dope. I don't know if you eat Starbucks, but in Starbucks they got the coldest hustle, bro. So basically, when I was younger, my brother always told me like never ask for ice because you get more juice, right?
uh-huh.
So so Starbucks, it was a viral video of a young lady basically explaining why Starbucks' new policy rips off its customers because they basically say if you come in and you ask for whatever they drinks and you say no ice, you're gonna get more product.
Right.
So now they're gonna charge you $1.10 more, which is probably about 20 to 30% more
If you ask for no
if
ice.
you ask for no ice or light ice. Even if you say, yeah, can I get some light ice on that? They still, bro. They got the coldest hustle, bro.
No, I didn't hear about that. It's funny because I probably do support Starbucks more than I should, just because I mean it's a waste of money at the end of the day. But you know what intrigued me about them, and I actually love their business model. Like despite how that may seem, sketchy, but their business model with the mobile app that they have and the membership and uploading money to your user account,
Oh, that's
you
cold
can
blooded.
use those points because it reminds me of the Apple thing, right? Starbucks is collecting money, right? You have $25 sitting in your Starbucks account, and now they're able to do with that money the same thing that banks are doing, the same thing that Apple is doing,
You giving them a
because
loan, basically.
you're literally giving them money that they can invest and have a whole nother side of revenue for their business. They probably make more from investing in the loans that they put out on the money in your app than they do from actually selling a coffee because the profit margins, even though the coffee is expensive, right? The profit margins are much smaller on that versus people, 100 million customers having 25 and $30 sitting in that account, and they're constantly able to leverage that. And then they got the whole point system where I can't even explain it, but that whole side of it is just it's pure genius for them because it's much
Yes.
bigger than just you come give us cash out of your pocket for this coffee. No, you sit a bucket of money over here that's specifically set aside for coffee. But when you're not buying it, we're still using your money. So whether you buy coffee with this money or not,
Right.
Starbucks is still able to profit off of it. They're profiting twice,
They're
right?
profiting. I
Because
was
if I
just about to
have
say,
$25 in
yes.
my Starbucks account and it's sitting there for a month, Well, they've done whatever they've done. They made a little bit of return off that 25, and then I'm still gonna go buy coffee with that $25. So they profited when they invested my money and when I bought the coffee, and then I'm just gonna reload the car and put another 25 right back on there.
Right.
So that's
And
genius for them.
they profiting three times because all right, now that you got these reserves, which is not really reserves, it's basically forward revenue because it's again, it's not just money sitting in there like a bank. I can go take this money and do whatever I want out of my bank.
Yes,
And my Starbucks
I can
card,
only use it for
I
this.
only can use this for Starbucks. So even if I get pissed off and say I ain't never shopping with Starbucks no more,
Get my 25.
I still got to go spend
Yeah,
25 at Starbucks in order for that to go away. But also, they can take that to a financial institution and say, "Hey, we got
this is
two
what we
billion
have.
dollars.
Yeah,
We got $2 billion worth of projected revenue here. We're taking this money and opening up 50, 60, 70 stores on the West Coast or whatever. But also, we want to use this as
collateral.
collateral
Yeah,
to go borrow at 1% and then go invest that somewhere else. So it's the coldest hustle, and the only reason they're able to do that is because they got a brand.
yeah.
Like that brand name is so strong. I think Tesla did something like that with what is that car called, man? What is that Tesla truck called? I didn't forgot the name of the truck. The Cybertruck. You ever seen the Tesla
I
Cybertruck?
saw the pictures of the
Yeah.
prototype.
Yeah. So the Tesla Cybertruck, basically how they funded the Cybertruck is Elon Musk introduced it. It had a prototype, and he said, if you want to buy this, you put $100 down deposit in order to have the option to buy it when we release it. Dude, they got probably like $1 billion
Right.
worth of people putting down deposits that day because Elon Musk is a genius because basically the whole thing was it's indestructible. You can't break this truck. And then he got on there and bust the window out. So all the media was on there. Elon's an idiot. Elon's this, the Cybertruck, the Cybertruck. And then at the end he announced, oh, you can put $100 down in order to get access to this. So let's say 10 million people put $100 down. Come on, bro. Like now you got billion. You almost got $1 billion worth of just free money
Yeah,
because he can really just say, "Oh, you didn't get selected."
exactly. Exactly. Not nobody even wants to buy the truck, but it don't matter because I got you to pay for something I never even had to deliver on. So it
Correct.
saves me money.
Which is the code. It's like insurance, bro. I mean, you buy
Man,
car insurance, and you buying insurance to hope you never have to use it,
literally.
right? So it's like you never want to call your insurance company and say, "Hey, actually, I need to use that."
Yeah.
What's my I don't forgot what's the amount of money you pay.
Premium.
What's my deductible?
Oh, the deductible.
Like you,
Something
you
had to
never
do with
want
the
to pay your
crash happens. Yeah.
deductible. Somebody broke in my truck. I called Progressive and I'm like, hey, somebody broke in my truck. I want y'all to replace my back window. It's tinted. All of this. They're like, okay, yeah, your deductible is $1,000, and your rate going to go up now because you filing a claim, and it's going to take 4 weeks. I'm damn. I mean, so I'm not. How am I going to drive? Right? But then they're like, it's actually better for you to just go up there and just pay cash to get you a new window because you don't have to get the right rate hike. You don't have to file a claim. You ain't got to wait 4 weeks. Um, and it's going to cost you probably $400 or $500 just to get a new window. So I'm like, bro, y'all got the coldest hustle in the game
Bro,
because you, I'm incentivized to not ever cash in this
correct.
life insurance. I mean, not life insurance, this car insurance that I got. So I mean, hey, listen, I'm not hating on y'all. Starbucks, Tesla, Progressive, or whoever insurance. I'm not hating on y'all because at the end of the day, I thrive to have a business model where I could basically have a brand where I could have my customers so bought in that they just give me money. It's damn near like they just loaning you
Yeah.
money, like
It's
and
all that
never.
they're funding your investment opportunities. They're
Yes,
funding your loans where you don't have to actually deliver on anything. Now, obviously, it's different for you, right? Because you will be delivering a
right.
product and the service. You already are. But like you said, for the insurance, it's like they're going to tell you, oh, well, the amount to replace your window is lower than your deductible. So don't even worry about filing a claim. Just go pay it out of pocket. So they never have to actually write a check to service you, even though you're still paying them your premium. But even on top of that, right? What are they doing with the premium that you're paying them?
They
They're
invest.
investing it just like Starbucks, just like the bank is, right? And then this is the coldest cycle in the world. I was telling a client this one time. Insurance companies in general are probably the biggest or one of the biggest funders of the government.
Right.
So guess what? Governments make what mandatory? Car insurance.
Insurance.
So if you're gonna drive a car, you have to pay the insurance company. And the insurance company is trying not to pay a claim for you because they're taking your money, loaning it to the government, getting interest back on it. So they're getting rich 3, 4 times over, and they're literally in bed with the government, making it mandatory for
Right.
you to pay that bill so that you have to keep that cycle going. And it's not optional because what are you gonna do? Not have a car? Or are you
Right.
gonna drive it with no insurance and risk losing your license? People even gone to jail for having suspended license, right? Right. So you're not
Yeah, I
gonna
mean,
go that far.
my brother went to jail for that. It was so funny because I have never been in the car with somebody that have you ever seen somebody like break 8 or 9 laws in your face? Listen, we driving and I was man, I probably was like I had to be like 16 because my brother 3 years older than me, so that mean he'd be like 18 or 19. So we in the car going to a dice game. Um, he's driving. He don't have on a shirt. Somebody told me that was like against the law. Like you're not supposed to drive without a
I
shirt on.
don't
I
know.
don't know if that's true, but we just gonna give him that's not a red flag. That's just a green flag, right? All right, whatever. He didn't have on a shirt. He had an escort, like a little small escort, right? 2 tens in the escort. So the escort is like the mirrors is falling off because the sounds in the back is so like that car is not built for that,
Yeah.
right? That's built for like a Monte Carlo or something. So his music is extra loud. So he's going to get a ticket for that. That's ticket number one. He's speeding. That's ticket number two. He ran a red light. That's ticket number three. He's smoking, bro. He's smoking. That's ticket number four. Leaning out the car. That's ticket number five. Bro, I was like the guy off they had some open Hennessy. I don't even drink. They got the Hennessy in there open. You're not supposed to drive with open liquor. Suspended license, no tags, no insurance. Bro, I was like that guy off what's that guy off Boys in the Hood where he was like, let me out the car. Bro, I'm like, let me out the car, bro. Bro, I'm like, let me out the car. They let me out the car. My brother cussed me out, let me out the car. I walks over to the dice game. I get there. They're not there. So I'm like, how did I beat them there?
Yeah.
He get arrested and flicked because he was breaking all these laws,
Asking
bro.
for it.
He's asking for it, and then basically they just gave him a ticket for not having insurance.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they could have took him in, did all of this, but they needed to give him a ticket for something. They
Something.
just gave him a ticket for not
Pick
having
one.
insurance.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about John Morant. I don't know if you saw how he missed out on $40 million.
What, he like missed a bonus or something because he got
Bro,
suspended? Is that
listen,
what it
he
was?
missed out on $39 million a contract bonus after not making the All-Star NBA team. And what people don't know about the All-Star NBA team is it's basically voted on by the media, right? Like if you obviously your stats and all that, but they also take your character and your off the court things that you do into consideration, right? So you got people like Dame Lillard, and a lot of these other dudes who made it, and you could line Dame numbers up with Ja, and you can always debate like, you know, they're going to be neck and neck, right?
Right.
But Dame ain't getting caught with a gun
Right.
on Instagram Live, so of course they're gonna put him in there over Ja. So Ja, because he didn't make that All Star NBA team, he missed out on $39 million in the contract bonus. 39, and this is, I mean, obviously he's not going to be hurting for money, but these are just some of the consequences
Yeah.
that when you grow up and you trying to be something you're not, because Ja is like I don't know Ja, right? I love Ja, I love how he hoop, right? But there's no gangsters in the NBA, bro.
No.
You're not a
You
gangster, bro.
can't be.
Like I'm from the real hood, bro. Like I'm from Detroit, the East Side, bro. Like I know real gangsters, bro. And I knew enough at 5 or 6 years old that I wasn't a real gangster, right? I know you're not in the NBA. You don't make it to the NBA if you're a real gangster because you're gonna crash out five,
Absolutely.
10 years before you even get to try
Yeah.
out.
You don't even make it that far.
You don't make it that far. So I don't know what's wrong with it. I hope he's on the right path because he did the whole interview with Jalen Rose, and now you know, he basically said he was sorry and all of this. He lost the money, so he's not gonna be able to make that up. Obviously, he's gonna be due for another contract. But once you lose out on that money, you never can make you're not never gonna
Can't
make that
make up
back.
for that.
You're not gonna make that back because it's not like he had to do anything extra
Right.
other than
He had already earned it essentially.
correct.
It's just you blew the bag, playing around off the court. And it's a super unfortunate situation, but it's kind of like in school somebody gets in trouble and the teachers are like, "Oh, we got to make an example out of this person."
Right.
And it's like, of course I wish that had not happened to Ja, but I also have the perspective of because it happened, maybe, just maybe, hopefully, this can be an example to younger guys who are coming up who are highly talented to understand I cannot make these bad decisions off the court. I can't
Right.
think I'm tough just because I got money or just because I got homies that are tough, right? So hopefully, Ja will be an example so that the kids coming up now, because bro, it's crazy talent coming up now, right? The high school and college kids right now are gonna be everybody gonna be Ja Morant or better, right? At the
Right.
pace that these kids are on. So it's like hopefully they can look at that example and say, all right, understood that when I'm off the court, I literally have to carry myself with poise, dignity, maturity. Like I cannot be out here putting my career and my safety and my friends and family safety and my reputation on the line for whatever reason. Now, if there's obviously some internal things that he needs to work out, cool, that's another story. But simply cannot wild out, make those rash decisions and blow such an opportunity because, he's going to get to the point where he gets blackballed, right? And we know
Right.
how that goes because there's players in the NBA right now like Draymond Green where he filed a couple people too hard a couple times, got a couple texts throughout his career. Not every time he does something,
It's blew out of
even if it
proportion.
is innocent and slight, it's blown way out of proportion versus a regular guy who has one mishap. Was like, well, you already got 10, so if you do something small, we're definitely gonna hold you
Like if,
accountable.
if Draymond was Jokic when
Yes,
he
bro.
pushed Matt Ish,
I tweeted that
yeah, if,
instantly.
when he
Matt
pushed
Ishbia, yeah,
Matt Ishbia, that he
they would
for
have
sure
kicked
would have
Draymond
yeah,
out the arena, bro.
Draymond would have been kicked out because your history shows that you know
Yeah, man.
it's not good.
And I'm just hoping that doesn't happen to Ja, right? Like, just don't have that cloud walking around you as the bad guy in the league. Nobody wants to deal with you because you're always causing trouble. Because we've seen that happen to several guys before, man.
Now,
But
let me ask you this, right? All right, we young, but we grew up in the era where BET was popping, right?
Mhm.
Now BET is quote unquote up for sale. Do you what would you even what would you even buy BT for? And the reason I say that is because whatever number you put up there, it's always cheaper to just start your own shit. So like, I mean, Tyler Perry's trying to buy BT, Diddy's trying to buy BT, 50 Cent and Shaq and Kenny Barris are trying to buy BT, and I'm sure it's a whole bunch of other people, but I don't know if I would.
bro, I have not watched BET in at least a decade, not since high school. And here's my thing, bro. When I hear our generation, now our generation grew up watching BET,
Right.
but when I hear our generation talk about what they're watching now, no one ever says, "Oh, I love this show that's on BET." It's something that's on Stars, on HBO, on Netflix. Who
Now Tyler Perry do got some hits on he's basically carrying BT Plus.
it must be an older crowd, bro. It must be an older crowd
I
that's
was
sitting at
probably
home
so.
watching paid cable. Our
Yeah.
generation isn't. But let's forecast that out, right? Because by the time our generation is 50 and 60 years old, right? The kids who are growing up and in school now and in high school, they're not watching BET.
Right.
They can't be. Because they're on TikTok and YouTube, right? So by the time our generation, who are the last ones who probably grew up watching BET and we don't watch it anymore, by the time we're our parents' age, like what innovations are they going to have to come up with to compete? Because all I hear people our generation talking about is power, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like when we're talking about black owned shows, like 50 Cent is dominating that space right now. Now,
Right.
if he and all the other black filmmakers are going to put their shows on that network
Right.
and now it's on streaming services, like, okay, I can see the revivement happening. But as of right
But
now,
BT got their own streaming services. They got BT Plus. So here's my thing. Like, all
I
right,
don't know.
wouldn't it make sense for Tyler Perry, Diddy would revolt, 50 Cent is a TV genius. Um, I don't know what Shaq doing, but he got money and he's Shaq, so obviously Shaq gonna bring some value. Kenny Bears, I believe he's a producer or director or something like that, so he obviously has value.
Byron Allen.
Byron Allen, right? He got the Weather Channel, all this other content. Why in the hell wouldn't they just go start something else for $100 LLC and just really brand it, bro? Because
I
they
don't know,
got the
man.
social media. They can just brand it, charge you $9 a month for all of this content that they already have, bro. It's not like they got to go out and make new stuff. Tyler
Yeah,
Perry already has all the
he
old
already has
plays,
it.
old shows. Um, 50 Cent already got hit shows or whatever. Byron Allen already got content. Revolt already produces content, right? Shaq can come up with his own show. He got podcasts and stuff like that. I don't understand. Like, I mean, obviously, I'm not looking into everything in their business or whatever, but I don't know if I would go spend $2 billion on BET right now.
It seems like they're just trying to salvage something for sentimental value.
Like the
Like,
old legacy, it's like a
yeah,
legacy brand. It's like we
yeah,
don't want to let BET go.
right.
We don't want to let it go under. But like, I don't know. I don't really know if I would spend $2 billion or whatever. That I don't know the exact number because it
Right.
hasn't been reported. But like, let's say it is 2 billion. I don't. I think they could start a company for a lot less than $2 billion. Come together, put their stuff on a streaming platform, and that be worth 3-4 billion
Yeah.
based off of valuation compared to just buying a legacy brand of BET. So I don't know, man. But I do like the fact that BET, being black owned. But like, what does that really mean? Like, all right, if it's black owned, are people going to watch it? Is it going to be good content?
Yeah.
Right? Just having somebody as a black owner doesn't really push the needle if nobody in the community or the culture isn't really getting behind it and pushing it. So
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I don't,
Only way I see it working again, like you said, if they bring it all the content they already have on the same platform, that's the only thing that makes sense to me.
because 50 Cent just purchased almost 1 million square feet, basically like creating his own
Yeah, I
studio.
saw
So
that. I saw that.
um, I mean, if 50 again, 50 is a TV genius. So we got 50, Tyler Perry, Byron Allen, Diddy, Kenny, like that's the blueprint, bro. Like y'all all can start your own stuff. Like I don't understand like why would like what's the point of buying I really don't see the point of buying BT. Now this is one interesting. So this is a young lady named Tara Davis. She lost her national title because she failed a drug test because she was smoking weed. And when we posted this, everybody got on our ass in the comments because they like, what about Michael Phelps? Or weed might be legal or this or
Yeah.
that. And what we just talked about, bro, the rules. These are the rules that you signed up for that you have to follow.
Yep.
So people called me a coon and all of this other shit because I said she signed up for the rules. She's in the Olympics or whatever she's doing. That they drug test you,
Yeah.
you're done. If these are the rules you got to follow, I don't understand why. And then people saying the rules are racist because Michael Phelps and all that. I don't know what happened with Michael Phelps. I'm talking about the young lady who lost her titles and probably lost endorsements or whatever. Even like the Shakari situation, the young lady who first went viral
Yeah.
last year or a couple years ago because she got kicked out of the Olympics for smoking weed. Bro, if the rules are the rules, either you play by the rules or you go create your own rules, bro. I don't know what she would do by creating her own rules, quote unquote. So you gotta play by the rules. I don't smoke weed. I'm not against nobody smoking weed, but like as a community, bro, we have to get out of this whole mentality that because the rules might be, racist or whatever, they don't apply to us.
Yeah.
And if when the repercussions of the rules come, it's automatically racist or it's automatically that. You have a choice in life,
Yep.
bro. So like we talk about this all the time, like you have a choice, bro. Like you have a choice to sign up for this job. You have a choice to put out your content. You have a choice to start a business. Hell, you got a choice to smoke weed or not. And it's like I would love to have a conversation with her and ask her like, what the like, what the hell are you thinking? What are you doing? Like, why would I just don't understand. Like, why would somebody subject themselves to losing everything that they worked so hard for over some weed?
All I can think of is I don't even know, bro. Because some cases it might be, they're using on a reoccurring basis, which is a whole nother conversation. But if it's the hey, I slipped up one or two times, it's probably the emotions and the pressure of everything going on that you forget what's at stake because you're so focused on let me get this small short term satisfaction that I'm not even worried about what the repercussions can be, and I can blow the fact that I have Olympic accolades. So
Right.
you just, hey, let me just do this one, two, three right here. But I mean, I wish there was a way to, when everybody grows up and becomes an adult, like you have coaching around mindset and self control, right? In order to monitor those urges and know how to satisfy whatever short term satisfaction you need without doing something that's going to jeopardize something that you've worked your entire life for, bro.
Right.
Right. And that's the worst part about it because, again, I don't know if she was doing that on a reoccurring basis or if it was something that happened one or two times and the timing was just bad when she had to take a test. But, bro, you've been working for 20 years, treating your body right, training two, three times a day, early morning, late night, pulled muscles, right? I mean, sacrificing stuff
Sacrificing.
that no one else is willing to sacrifice so you can become the best in the world at what you do, but then you throw it away over a feeling that's going to last for how long? A
And,
couple minutes?
it was a lot of people also saying, like, in the comments, saying, like, you know, it is cannabis is good for you because it helps you with your joints and pain and all that. I'm with that. I understand all of that. I understand the benefits, bro. But it's the rules, bro. It's the rules. So, like, if we taking the ACT or SAT or the MCAT or whatever to get into a school that we're trying to go to, and they say no phones, and I'm on my phone, and they catch me and they say, "All right, Mr. Hill, you got to get the fuck home." Is that racist, bro? No, it's not, bro. They got rules, and it's like, as a community, bro. Like, a lot of times we don't be wanting to respect rules because we feel like we didn't have a seat at the table in making them, which is it's a valid point,
Yeah.
right? Don't nobody want to follow something that they ain't had no skin in the game on creating. But also, either we got to create our own shit, our own leagues, our own rules, our own companies, organizations, follow our rules, and then, or we got to follow their rules.
Yeah.
The people who put the rules together, and I just hate to see, I'd hate to see our people go out and basically throw all their time and their energy and their money away. Like you said, these people work for their whole damn life. Um,
Yeah.
this was a interesting one. I don't know if you've seen that video about Polo G. You know who Polo G is?
I know he's a rapper.
Yeah,
That's all I
that's
can
all I
tell
know
you.
too. I can't tell you a song either, but Polo G's mom basically said she struggled growing up, right? So because she struggled growing up, she didn't want any of her kids to actually have to go get a job because she feel like white families and other families allow their kids to figure their life out. Um, but black families in our community, we just put our kids out at 18 and tell you to figure it out. So basically, she said she told her kids, "You don't go get a job. Figure out what you want to do with your life and your purpose." Some of them went to college. Some of them started rapping. Some of them tried to play sports. Polo G came out of that, right? So a lot of people was in the comments like, "Yeah, but you gonna end up lazy as hell. You babying your kids. You doing this and that." And it's like we had totally different upbringings, right? Like I haven't stayed at my mom's house since I was, or my parents' house just in general since I was 18, right? I don't know when you moved out of your parents' house, or
Yeah.
if you would ever feel comfortable even living with your parents again, even if it's not in the home you grew up in, like a new crib or whatever. But like, what do you think about the whole concept of, like, as an advisor, somebody who worked with people personally on their money, like putting the kids out at 18 versus sitting around and trying to put them in a position of privilege and let them figure it out?
It's so interesting because when I talk to clients that look like us, right? That are from our community, I'm always asking questions about what was your upbringing like, right? What was the experience as a household? Is there an inheritance coming for you? Are your parents financial role models for you? Like what good habits did you learn and pick up and observe? And what I've never heard anyone in our community say is my parents put me in a position financially and with resources so that I can do whatever I want to do. Now, I personally know a couple people whose parents have, put a couple things aside from them, but 99.9% of the time when I'm having the conversations with these black young professionals, no one's ever telling me that, yes, my parents did this and I have this waiting for me. They allowed this space and created this opportunity for me and I have funding to do so. It's a completely different story when I'm talking to people who are outside of our community,
Right.
right? Obviously, all of them don't come from good upbringings, but just the fact that they may not have had a bunch of financial traumas growing up still allows them to be ahead of the game, even if there was no money set aside. So, you know, getting those perspectives and seeing how I grew up and then what my preferences are, I'm the type that wishes to raise children in a house where obviously they don't need for anything,
Mm-hmm.
but I had to figure out how to become financially responsible, a high income earner for myself. I
Right.
had to figure those things out. And I truthfully believe that if I didn't have to figure that out on my own, I would be lethargic. I'd be laying around. I'd be complacent.
Right.
And I think that that is way too counterintuitive for a black person in this country because we have to live by a different set of rules, right?
Right.
Like we don't have the privilege of being 30 and not knowing what it's like to fend for yourself, not knowing what it's like to manage money. So my perspective is, hey, obviously you take care of them, you give them the basics, but there has to be, I personally believe, pressure for a child to learn on their own how to survive and maintain. That don't mean put you out on the street, but I'm not gonna buy you all the freshest J's, the games. Like I'm not spoiling you with luxuries of life just because you said you want them. You need to know what it feels like to come up with an idea, execute on it, take care of your responsibilities, and then go get what you want on your own. I refuse to just lay it out on a silver platter for
Now,
you.
now let me ask you this though, because it's always a double-edged sword. Because, all right, my life changed when I got on a private jet. Right, exposure, that's a privilege.
Yeah.
Right, so there's also a debate where, in the mindset of, if do you want your daughter or do you want your son to accept that low level car, to accept to accept not the best things in life. It's kind of like you want them to have the good life. You want them to be
So
exposed
they
to the
can
good
be
life.
exposed without me spoiling it to them because they gonna witness me, right? Look, I got a Bentley truck. I earned the
That's a
Bentley
good point.
truck,
That's a
so
good
you
point.
can just admire my Bentley truck in the driveway and
That's
watch
a good
me
point.
drive it every day and say, "Wow, I'm exposed to it." Oh, my dad flies private; he flies first class. So,
Right.
how can I earn the way he earned? Right? What decisions can I make to put myself in a position to do it? If I just hand it to you, right? You know the old adage, right? If I give you a fish, right? You eat today. If I show you how to fish, right? You can eat forever if you learn how to do it on your own. So I subscribe to that philosophy, man.
Like
You got
like
to figure it out.
are you familiar with the media company Say Cheese?
Yeah.
You okay? So the guy who owns Say Cheese, his name is Sean Cotton, right? So I follow him a lot because I like some of I like the style of content, how he do his content or whatever, and we um both follow each other brands. But he had a viral clip on Vlad TV, basically was saying like he lived with his mom until he was 26. He had the company. He had $100,000 in his account before he moved out. Like now he's a multimillionaire, right? So everybody, when I posted that up, everybody in the comments, oh, he lazy as fuck. He didn't see that because he was talking about he paid his mama $50 a week, which is basically like $200 a month,
Yeah.
um, just to make it seem like he was contributing. But his mom basically let him figure it out,
Right.
right? And he figured it out. And now he a multimillionaire. So like, it's a double edged sword because it's like for every Sean Cotton, there's another guy sitting on the fucking couch playing 2K, not doing
There's
nothing with
10 more guys on the
there-
couch. Right.
exactly. So it's like, where do you? I don't really know where you. I don't, cause I'm gonna say this. If I had the opportunity to live with my parents or an uncle or somebody, like I would, bro. I'm a hard worker no matter what. I'm that type of person. I don't need to struggle to feel like or to work hard, because that's the narrative too, that your kids need to struggle just like you to appreciate you. I don't subscribe to that. That's why I was kind of asking you about, do you want your 16-year-old daughter to have that beat up car? You see what I'm saying? Like, or do you want her to have a new car just because it's safety? When she go to a good school, everybody else pulling up in a new car.
Yeah.
She pulling up in a hoopty. Now she getting picked on. Your son going to school, he getting picked on and he fighting because he ain't got the latest kicks like everybody else, and his shoes messed up. So it's like, I don't really know. And as a parent, I'm not a parent, so hey, but I don't really know like where the balance is on trying to give your child a life that they can strive to have their own success, but also trying to put them in a situation where they don't accept the bare minimum. Because you don't want your daughter accepting the bare minimum from some broke ass guy,
Right.
and you don't want your son out here being and living the bare minimum and saying, well, I mean, I grew up not having shit because my dad made me eat oatmeal while he was eating steaks because he was trying to teach me a lesson. And now I don't got no drive to go make enough money to make to own to buy my own steak. So I don't really know like where the balance is when it comes to like raising kids or putting somebody in a position.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, it's tough, bro. Obviously, you can control what you can control, right? I mean, we talk about that all the time, and you cannot control what your child chooses to grow up and do, but what you can control is the exposure and the environment you put them around, because you got to think, bro, like we're always at conferences, we're at networking events, we're meeting professionals, we're trying new ideas, constantly taking risks. Imagine raising a child who is just witnessing you as a father do that every single day. The probability is is high that they're gonna grow up and be that same type of person who is willing to take risks. They're outgoing. They want to learn. They seek new information. So obviously, you can't control their decision, but I think that if you're bringing them around those environments, that's something that they're naturally gonna take part in. I grew up. I mean, sports was my thing. I had an older sister. My dad was coaching every sport he possibly could. I was always in the gym. I was always outside on some field. So what happened to me naturally? I'm playing sports. And
right.
even when I stopped playing competitively, I'm always watching. I'm trying to play recreationally. Like athletics is in me because that was the environment growing up. So I think again, you can't control what your child will do, but you can control the environment that you have them around. So if you're doing things that you want them to aspire to follow in your footsteps with, great. But if you're saying, "Hey, I'm not gonna kick them out. I'm gonna let them figure it out," but all you doing is working at the plant, slaving for the man for your entire life, settling for the bare minimum, but you're talking about, "Oh, I want my kid to figure it out." Well, they might end up doing nothing or being lazy because that's all they see. But if
Right.
they see you getting up, killing it, going after it, it's nearly impossible for them to not have that spark, right? Because what do they say? You are the five people you surround yourself with the most. Well, if your parents are two of those people in your household every single day and they have a huge influence over you and you see them going out creating a fantastic life for themselves, that's going to influence your behavior.
Let me ask you this. I don't know if you've seen that clip of that young lady, the journalist who was asking about, who was
Oh
talking about,
boy.
because you
Bus
just brought up
driver.
like, yeah, you just brought up like people working in plants and stuff like that, and I worked in a plant before, man. It's hard work. So, Ayanna Van Zant asked the young lady, because the young lady was basically on a rant complaining about how men ain't shit and they don't make enough money and how they're not living up to these leadership standards. And she's dated all type of different men, black, white, Asian, whatever, and all men across all the spectrum isn't leveling up or isn't on the level that she would like. Um, and Ayala asked her straight up, like, would you date a bus driver? Right? And she said, if he owns the bus. Right? So a lot of people got irritated at that because, and here's my thoughts on that. All right, you don't own You don't own the media company that you even interviewing Ayanna Benzat on. That's owned by Byron Allen. So why does he have to own the bus, but you don't own as a journalist, you don't own the company.
Right.
So I think this what Kevin Samuels was getting at is all right. And then her response was, I'm a lawyer, I have a law firm on the side, I got books, I got other investments. Why can't he have other investments, houses, real estate, equity in companies? Why is it that he has to own the job that he does every day, but you don't?
Yeah.
Right? Oh, that's another conversation. But this is what I think Kevin Samuels was getting at with a lot of women, especially modern day, is like the expectations they have for the mate that they want don't always align to their everyday realities. And the young lady is extremely successful. So what I think she was getting at is she wants a dude that is basically doing better than her.
Right.
And most guys aren't doing better than her because she's so fucking successful. She's a lawyer. She probably is rich. I don't know if she's rich or not, but we just gonna give it to her that she's at least worth $1 million. Um, so I think that's what she was getting at. It came off wrong, but the whole concept of not wanting to date a blue collar man and everybody want to date the boss. Everybody want to date the guy that's rich, the guy that pulls up in a nice car and all of this. Like, you talk to a lot of couples. Like, what the hell is going on in these relationships to where, or with these women to where they don't want to date a guy that's making an honest living? I don't get it, bro. Like, at first it was I don't want to date no street dude because he, selling drugs, scamming and all that stuff. All right, I can see that because now your life is at risk. But it seems like them dudes are never single. Them
Man.
dudes always got the girls.
Man.
But the working class man making 80, 90,000, $100,000 a year, that's not enough.
That's such a sticky conversation to have, man. Like I've had meetings recently with women who are married, and the man is not holding weight at all. Like not carrying his side of the responsibilities. He's making less money if he's making money at all. And the thing is he still has so much influence over the woman.
Right.
Right? Like the woman is scared to make decisions that will move the household forward because she got to run it by her husband, but her husband's not even making any money. So he's saying, no, don't spend money on stuff we need that'll get us to the next level because he's like, oh, we need to save and budget and pay down debt, but you're not making no money to save or budget or pay down the debt. So I definitely think men have to step it up, right? I agree
Right.
with that. Like, let's put that out there first and foremost. Like, there's a lot of responsibility that men need to take in terms of not only aspiring to earn good income, but actually managing that money once you get it, right?
Right.
And being responsible to take care of the household. Yes, women are far outpacing men, and I feel bad, especially for black single women who desire to date black single men, because for one, they just outnumber us just simply based on population. But in terms of success, education, business ownership, income earning, they're outdoing black men significantly. So
I'm,
for
I'm, you know what? I'm gonna push back on that, right? You know why? I think it's the perception that women, especially black women, are outdoing black men. Because when you look at the net worth calculations, like they not outpacing there. Now, education wise, all right, they got more degrees. All right, because we both went to
I was
college,
about
right? It was
we
all
went
black women. You know
we
what I'm
went
saying?
to a law school graduation yesterday. It was probably three dudes. We can't count the amount of black women that were there.
Right,
Couldn't count how many graduated. It was like three dudes,
right. But
black dudes.
that's my point though. It's not that all right. Yes, all right. So we just went to the law school. All right. The girl graduated from law school. She making 150. She making 200. Who's to say the bus driver ain't making 150, bro?
Nobody.
Like
Nobody.
we ain't talking about just some random dude driving a cheese bus. He might be driving an executive bus around the country
Yeah.
carrying Lil Wayne. She just said a bus driver.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, bro. It's the
It's the
status.
title.
It's the
Yeah.
titles. It ain't about income. Because that guy can make more than her as a journalist.
Yep.
The average journalist and the average bus driver ain't that far off, bro. Like I'm a journalist. I just so happen to own the platform that I'm speaking on, right? But if I would have went to, if I was doing the exact same thing I do now for a company, I would be in trouble, bro. I went to school for communications. I would be broke, bro. Like nobody would know me if I was actually using my degree and working in the field, bro.
Yeah.
Like I got a lot of friends who are journalists, they're struggling, right? But I just so happen to own a platform, so because I understand entrepreneurship and ownership. But my thing is, when Ayanna asked her would she date a bus driver, it had nothing to do with money. It had everything to do with this title.
Yep.
Oh, if he owned the bus, meaning he
The
can.
owner.
He's the owner and he's the CEO. He's a boss. It ain't have nothing to do. That nigga can be broke too. You talk to a lot of
Oh my
entrepreneurs who broke,
goodness.
bro.
Broke,
So
man.
being an entrepreneur does not necessarily mean that you're gonna make more money than somebody who work a 9 to 5, bro.
Yeah.
I know people who 9 to 5 millionaires and all they do is invest their money and live a good life, bro. They worth $5 or $6 million. They've been working there 20 years. They've been investing their capital, and some of them quit their job because their assets are paying them more money than their job could.
I tell you what, I've met more people in their 50s and 60s who are well off and prepared for retirement who have a 9 to 5 than I have the ones who are entrepreneurs. I've talked to 50 and 60-year-old people who have been doing different business hustles here and there, own this, own that, for 20, 30 years, and they've accumulated nothing. Obviously, some are successful, but I know more in the 9 to 5 space who are more well positioned to actually retire and enjoy the rest of their life and their fruits of their labor who just worked a job.
Right.
But then on top of all of that, this is my thing. All right, let's put money aside. Let's say he checks the box on income earning and status.
Right.
That does not make him a good man.
Right. But
It doesn't make
at
him a
that
good man.
point, it don't matter, bro. At that point, it don't matter because if he checked the box on the status, he checked the box on the income, he can dog her out, cuss her out, cheat on her, do all of this, and women are going to accept that. And that's the point, bro. That's the point that all of us are making. That women just want the perception of I'm with the boss, I'm with this dude, I'm with that. Like you can be a boss of nothing, bro. You can have 10 LLCs, bro, and be broke. So like I don't know. Like again, it was you can be a plumber, bro. Most people, I guarantee you, if you ask people, and you can even start by asking kids. If you ask kids, adults, and just anybody random, would you rather make $100,000 as a lawyer or $200,000 as a plumber? Most people would say $100,000 as a lawyer. So they're willing for that title of a lawyer and that status in the U.S. and across the world as a lawyer. They're willing to take a pay cut of 50% where they could be investing, buying real
Literally.
estate, XYZ, because of the title, bro. And that title, titles are so subjective. Like I can give you a title for anything. That don't mean you actually have a skill. So like I just feel like the blue collar man out here is being shitted
It's
on
being
by a lot of
disrespected.
women.
Yeah.
And let's just be honest. In so many words, basically what she said is, I'm successful, I'm rich. I want a guy who's more successful and richer than me because I see a man as somebody as a leader by default, somebody I need to look up to, somebody I need to submit to. And I'm not submitting to no bus driver because of who I am.
Yeah.
That's basically what I
That's
heard.
exactly what was said. And here's my thing. Here's what I don't want to be taken away from this conversation is just because a man is driving a bus, right? That says nothing about his character, but I don't want other women to think that they can't date a guy who drives a bus because that's the narrative that you hear on the internet. Because there's going to be women who also have a basic level of income or status who think that they should make the same demands as her, right? So everybody thinks they should date a boss and a baller when really the guy that's on your level is a bus driver and he's a great guy. So just because some lady on TV said it doesn't mean that's what you should strive to do, right?
Facts.
Like if LeBron James is expecting his teammates to shoot 90% from the 3-point line, I can't expect you to shoot 90% from the 3-point line when we go to open rec. I
Right.
can't hold you to that same standard. I'm not LeBron, right? So I can't expect that the guys I'm hooping with perform like LeBron's guys do. So
Facts.
if she is the high end, successful journalist, entrepreneur, or lawyer, whatever it is that she is, right? If she is that and you hold your man to a certain standard, that's great. But I don't want the women who aren't anywhere near that to think that they can demand the same standard as her when you need to really be demanding the plumber who's a great guy who makes a great income earner. And here's the other thing to that. A bus driver, a plumber, whatever it is, those people serve critical roles in the economy, bro.
Facts.
Like just because your status and your
Firefighters,
title is not
police.
cute or beautiful does not mean what you do is not important. And I don't appreciate undermining an individual who and right. And she tried to clean it up, right? She said, "Oh, my mom, whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter though. It's too late at that point because now people are stuck on the face value of what you said that I'm not good enough if I drive a bus. Listen, like the economy would not be able to go around without people who have those fundamental basic jobs, regardless if they sound cute or not. And those people are just as important to the success of the economy as a journalist, a broadcaster, an attorney, and XYZ. Because if my toilet break down right now, bro, who am I calling? A plumber, right?
Facts.
If my kids need to get back and forth to school, I hope the bus driver is the most upstanding, ethical, safe, respectful person there is because you're responsible for getting my kids back and forth to school, bro. So those people got to have the same type of credit, the same type of weight and appreciation as somebody who has a cute title. And the income, dude, that's subjective. Because even if you aren't making 100 grand as an individual, if your lifestyle can stay below what it is that your lower income earns you, you're fine, right? I've met people who literally don't make six figures, but manage their money and have a better lifestyle than people who make $500,000 and $600,000.
Right.
So you can live below your means. You can manage your money well. You can have a great lifestyle without being ballerific. Now, if you want to be living lavish, obviously you got to make more to justify that. But I don't want her words and message to be distorted and translated to someone else thinking that they need to hold the same expectations that she has. But that's hard to do, bro. Because like we said earlier, when stuff is on media, you take it for face value and you run with it. So I just don't want those dangers to be mixed up in people's minds.
Man, Cliff, bro, we always have a good conversation. We definitely gonna do this again, bro. I gotta wrap it up, man. We on like 4% of one of these cameras, man. So we gonna keep coming back with it, man. I think we had a real good, fruitful conversation. Talked about a lot of important topics, man. So I look forward to doing this again, bro.
Absolutely.
I'm launching this as just my own podcast, like how we talked about. Just talk about different, interesting topics. I built a brand, and the brand is pretty much thriving and it's faceless. So it doesn't require me to be the forefront of the brand, which is good. But a lot of people ask, like, man, they want to get to know. They want to
Right.
get to know the man behind the brand. So I'm gonna just do this podcast. I'm not gonna promote it that much on my company page. Um, Depends. We have a little viral clip here and there. I'm gonna post it up, but it's more so gonna be like my thoughts, my process, my friends, my mentors, my people that I talk to every day, and I'm gonna give people an insight on it, man. So
Yeah, that perspective is needed, bro.
yeah,
People
let's
need
do
it.
it.
Let's do it.